on to the next thing. So, boudoir and erotica. Most people will stumble across my page for wanting or thinking that they want boudoir. And that's because that's what society's taught you, and because that's probably all that you think is out there. Boudoir is what's kind of socially mainstream and socially out there. Boudoir is all of the stuff, right? Not all the stuff, all the stuff you've seen, pretty much. It's what your friend down the street had done. It's what, I don't know how else to say it. It's the mainstream version of what we do. In the way of, here I am, cute, in lingerie, being super adorable. Obviously, that's not what my boudoir is, but that's what typical society boudoir is. I think that that's unrealistic, unnatural, and kind of fake. And so when I started the boudoir studio in 2017, I started it because I was so sick of the idea of boudoir and what people thought it was. And I was so sick of that societal way of doing it, of being cute, and here I am sitting in lingerie being completely fake and whatever. And so I said, well, truthfully, I thought there's a long story to it, but we're going to talk about that in another live. But anyway, I was like, let me do it the way I want to do it. And I decided to go a little bit more edgy and different, and dark and moody, but most of all, sensual. I wanted it to be realistic. What are you looking at? You looked super on it.
I told somebody to click on a link and I never sent the link.
Oh, that's funny. I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, so it's super sensual and realistic, and in tune with someone's like sexual desires, right? And that to me was the most important. And showing women as sensual beings and incredible, in touch with themselves beings, was what I was most focused on. And so I decided to do that. Boudoir includes pretty much being the most authentic, beautiful version of yourself, and of your relationship, with a couple. In a couple, I guess, if you do a couple session, it's just I'm obviously sick, so I'm all over the place, but tapping into that sensual version of yourself, in the most authentic version of you as a couple, and presenting it and working through that, right? So we do the homework, we do the assignments, and we do the growth work before your experience to make you and your partners tap into the most vulnerable, obviously real parts of yourselves, and have those uncomfortable conversations and work through those and just become a better version of you guys as a couple. Individually, we do the same thing, but we do it as just, I guess, an individual. We're just trying to get you to the best version of you, and being the best version of yourself. So, if that makes any sense. So, yeah. Questions, concerns, anything? Boudoir, really, let's see. The big differences, I'm going over them individually, and then I'll go into them separate, together, right? Is that in boudoir, you can get nude, you can be naked, you can do all of those things. There's not a limit on the amount of clothes that you're wearing, between boudoir and erotica. And a lot of people think that. A lot of people, when they visit my site, think that the reason, I love you too, the reason there's a difference between boudoir and erotica is clothing. And that's just not it. The difference between boudoir and erotica is truly just genitals, right? In boudoir, I'm not going to show off any parts of your genitals. I'm not going to have you open your legs. And I'm not going to, photograph any part of your downstairs or any actual intimate acts. I'm not going to go into any actual, physical touching of intimate body parts to make real sexual acts. That only happens in erotica, and which means in erotica we actually do intimate stuff. You actually are playing with yourself, and you're engaging yourself, and you're in that moment, and we use toys and we use other things, whatever you want to. And as a couple, that means you're actually engaging and actually having that intimate moment together in erotica, because we can capture all of that. And it's probably, I mean, everybody loves it, really, let's be honest. But there's such a difference, right? And there's just such a difference of, like, comfortability. So, like, whether you're comfortable with boudoir or erotica, or what you're comfortable with when it comes to your intimate acts and your sexual acts, and whether that's a line in which you are okay with, or if it's a line in which you want to see if you're okay with, because a lot of people do the homework and the assignments and the growth work to see whether they're going to be able to do an erotica session. The whole goal of that is to lead you into it, and to get you ready for it, and to prep you, and to get you to your most authentic sexual self and your most authentic self as a couple, and to grow your intimacy, which means, you probably know if you follow our, like, email list, we do, like, erotic assignments, but we have a whole different course for our erotica couples and individuals. So working on that is just, it's intense, and it's beautiful, and people are like, oh, well, you do capture this, and do you capture that, and what about this? And I capture everything. Doesn't matter whether you're the most vanilla, which is beautiful and emotionally connecting and all of that, or if you are the most kinky BDSM person ever. Like, I live for it, right? Either way, everybody's intimacy is so different, and everybody's connection is different, and communication is different, and being able to capture that, even if it's just an individual, the way they connect with themselves and the way they communicate their desires and show their desires and engage with themselves, is different from anybody else, and no one's the same. And I get to capture that, and I get to make that into beautiful, stunning art, and also get to show you how stunning and how remarkable your sexuality is. Especially as women, we're just so shamed around, like, our sexuality, right? And shamed around playing with ourselves or being really sexual beings or blah blah blah. Like, and so I just want to transform that away from that idea and into the idea that our intimacy is beautiful and our sexual desires are beautiful, and having them, there's nothing wrong with that. And so that's what I do through both boudoir and erotica. Just erotica is like that next step of, like, stop giving a fuck and just embrace it, because it's the most beautiful thing that you can embrace, right? So that's kind of the differences. I'm going to see how long, as I said, I'm going to see how long I can last during this live, because I'm super sick, but it's okay. We're going to make it. It's cool. So I think that when people ask me which one they should go for, I typically, depending on the couple or the person, will say go for boudoir first. If you are not 100% owning your sexuality and 100% no fears about this, and you're not 100% comfortable with your sexuality or your communication with your partner or any of that, then you should do a boudoir first, because that's what's going to get you that comfortability. That's what's going to get you there, and that building and that trust building, that communication, and just working on it with all of our assignments and everything is going to get you to the point of being able to do an erotica and having the best results. And also, jumping to an erotica, like, coursework without doing, like, the prep coursework can be hard, if you aren't on the communication standards of, like, doing an erotica. I try to include some from the boudoir workflow, but it doesn't include everything, because boudoir is different from erotica. Boudoir is more about the emotional connectivity and the emotional diving in and being more, like, cutesy and building that communication and that trust. For erotica, I feel like it already has to partially be there, because you're going to come in front of another person in which you have to communicate and trust. And so if you don't already have that between you two, coming in front of me is going to be like a big ass jump that might not work out so well. And so that's why we work on everything. That's why we go through all these steps. That's why I interview all of my clients. And that's why you can't book an erotica without talking to me. It's also why I don't shoot just male erotica if you haven't shot with me before. So if you haven't shot with me as a couple or done, like, a male boudoir session, you can't come in and have a male erotica. You have to have shot with me prior to actually have a male erotica session. That's not only for my safety, but, like, communication and building up your, I guess, mindset, right? Of what is expected, what's allowed, what's not allowed, all of that shit. So, yeah. I think that's pretty much all of it. Any questions? Did I cover what I was going to cover? Does that make all the sense? You should tell me. I'm going to stick around for like 3 minutes, see if that makes sense, see if I like got the point across, or if there's any like other questions or differences that you need to know about or want to know, and I will answer all of those. I try to cover everything, and there's very much no, like, I love them both the same. Obviously, I find that the transformations are different. Everyone's transformation is different no matter what, but like the difference in transformations with erotica and boudoir is very much again about the emotional growth, right, and the confidence growth, and finding your most authentic self before that. And erotica is like, you already know parts of that, right? Like, you know your most authentic self, like, or you're tapping into it and you're at a spot in your life which you are at least comfortable enough to say, I want to make this step, I'm ready to make this step, I'm comfortable enough to make this step, and this is something I really, really desire. Yeah, and I will say, just like Beth just said, and I get that from probably, I would say 90% plus of my clients, that you tap into erotica, right? You jump into this thing because you just want to see your intimacy in an artistic way, and you want to capture this beautiful moment in which you guys are together, or you're together with yourself and embracing yourself in the most beautiful, like, natural way. But it's so much more than that. During your session, like, you grow so much. We try new things, and I see what you're comfortable with, and I feed off your communication, I feed off your energy and your vibe and all of that, and we take the session from there, so it just grows. And when they leave their erotica session, usually I would say their sexual life just increases by so much, because I've opened this new line of communication, and I've opened this new line of, maybe we could try that, or maybe I'm really into that. She talked about it, and I think I would like to try that. Or this was on the contract, and we didn't do it this time, but do you think maybe we should look into that? Like, maybe this is a thing. And so it just opens so many doors. And also, like, you just had sex in front of a stranger, and that's a new door, like, that you've untapped and been like, we did this, right? And that fuels such sexual energy, whether it's one of your kinks or not. Like, it really just fuels you to desire it more, and then whatever you learn fuels more, and the idea of doing it again fuels even more, and so it just becomes a thing that, like, just transforms your sexual life together or by yourself. And I've had people who come to me almost sexless, like having sex like once a month, and they leave having it like 3 times a week, right? And just that change is absolutely incredible. So I love it. But I have that happen for boudoir too, where people tell me that, you know, I changed their confidence and I changed their marriage, or I gave them the confidence to leave their partner that they weren't happy with, and go find happiness, and to be themselves. And so I think is that a game? Never mind. My husband's looking at video games and I'm like, oh, that movie looks cool. It's not a movie. Letdown. Total letdown. But I love you all, and if you have not applied for the giveaway, obviously you should go do that. I don't know what you're waiting for. Like, you're fucking around and you're gonna find out when you lose because you didn't apply, and I don't want to tell you, but you should go do that. You definitely should. And you should tell all your friends about it because you really love me. And Andrea, you would have such a great couples shoot. I see you. I see you guys in your. It'd be beautiful. Chef kiss. Definitely. But I know I want to keep this under wrap because I'm not feeling well, and I'm really surprised I've sat here this long and talked. But I love you all, and I'm gonna go rest and try to be better by tomorrow so I can actually work and call people. I had one call today, and I was like, if I have to hang up like abruptly. Please know I'm not being rude. I just am sick. And she was like, no, do you want to reschedule? I was like, nah, I think I can make it through it. Like, I think I'm good. And she was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm good. And she was super adorable and cute, so I'm super glad I got through it, because I would have felt like a complete asshole. Because I do definitely take things personally when I can't make like appointments and stuff. So yeah. All right, guys. Thank you. You guys are the best. I love you all. Bye.